Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This video is the second in my Perfect Trio series where I am teaching you how to put together a limited 3-color watercolor palette. If you missed the last video where we swatched our colors and picked our trio, I will leave that linked in the description box down below as well as in the cards above. I will also have a playlist available for this series. If you like this topic and would like to see more in-depth videos on color mixing, let me know in the comments, and even leave specific color recommendations that you might be interested in the comments down below, and I can cover those more thoroughly in a future video. If you are curious about any of the materials that I'm using, or would like a detailed list of all of the color recommendations that I have by brand, please check the description box down below for links. If you like this video in this free masterclass series and would like to support the channel, I have a Patreon page linked in the description box down below for you to check out. There I will have scans of my colors and my color mixes and more in-depth notes about the paints that I have chosen. I will also have real-time tutorials to the demo pieces featured later on in this series with the sketches, reference photos, color mixes, and all of my tips, tricks, and techniques for those paintings. Now, to get started with a color mixing exercise, I'm first going through and I'm doing a value study of each of my 3 colors. On my palette, I have fresh dollops of each of my 3 colors, and I'm very slowly adding my paint to a puddle of water on my palette, starting very light and adding more paint until we reach mass tone. This is a process that is a bit intuitive, and it can take a little bit of practice in getting a really consistent gradient, but that's part of the purpose for doing this exercise. Do as many or as little of these steps as you feel necessary, as you can always do more than what I have done here. This allows you to get to know more about your paint's consistency and how it changes as your ratio changes from mostly water to mostly paint. This will be important for later mixes, but also throughout your painting practice going forward. After you work your way through each color, we will then do the same thing with 2 colors. This is where things will start to move a little bit more quickly, as this is a complex subject, but I can cover it in a separate video if there's enough interest. We start by creating a pool of 1 color. I tend to start with a more medium dilution of my chosen color's paint range. Usually my color is quite dark, but still allowing my puddle to be very fluid. Slowly, I start adding my second color. I find it helpful to have either a pool of color and a thicker consistency to work from, or a second dollop of paint to not contaminate the pure color. As I add my second color, you can slowly start to see the color change. We are doing this in steps similar to the single color gradients, and again, you can do this in as many steps as you would like to see the entire range. Since we worked on picking dynamic colors, you can see some of the really unique colors starting with our yellow to blue. Here we have a beautiful green gold, sap green, hooker's green, viridian, and more. Next, from blue to pink, we start to see our really bright and beautiful blue transition into a really deep and moody blue. From there, you can see our color turn into almost what is a dioxazine purple color, and it changes even further into mauve and then to a cool pink. Finally, with our yellow to pink, we start to see the color get a little bit warmer, first from a more corally type pink before turning into a bright primary fire engine red. This is why we chose a pink for our primary and not a red, as we can make it ourselves. After red, we start to get into really beautiful oranges and warm yellows. Next, I wanted to cover earth tones, and this is a really complex subject, and we're only going to be covering this lightly in this video. These are not only important, but they're also great for a starting point for mixing skin tone colors. We'll start with our yellow, and we will pull an even mix from our blue and pink, making a deep purple. Slowly, we add our purple mix to the yellow, and we watch as the color shifts from a warm yellow to a golden brown, and then a dark sepia color, and finally black. This is where the color mixing can get confusing and fun, as when you change the ratio slightly, we can end up with slightly different colors. This is important when covering skin tones, as some of these would need to be more pink in our mixture for lighter complexions or rosy cheeks, or blue may be needed for a more olive skin tone. I wanted to show you some super pale skin tone options or beautiful floral colors next for you to better understand the range that I'm talking about. We're doing roughly the same as our skin tone mixes above, but in a very light pastel mix. You can see we start with a really pale yellow, and as we add pink to it, we end up with pale yellows, corals, and pinks. As we add purple, they become dusky violets, and as we play with our mixes, we can end up with warmer blush tones and even grays. After that, we will mix some muted greens, starting with a sap green color mix and slowly adding pink for a beautiful range of muted greens, light grays, and even into really beautiful dusty pink colors. This is a really great exercise for you to start with, and for those of you who are following along with the series, I hope you take the time to do this. I want to stress this, especially to the newer artists here who may be worried about wasting your supplies, that practice is not wasteful. Learning is not wasteful, and your enjoyment and knowledge in painting are not wasteful. Please allow yourself the time and materials to learn, and I think once you get started, you will see just how far your materials can actually be stretched. I hope you all enjoy this video. If you did, I would really appreciate it if you could give it a like, leave a comment, or share this video to anyone who might find it helpful. If you appreciate this free series and would like to support this channel and are financially able to do so, I would love it if you could check out my Patreon page linked down below. If you want more in-depth color mixing videos, please leave the color you want to be covered in the comments, and I can hopefully get to that in a future video. That is all for today, and I will see you in the next video. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Bye!